Coming up on this program, we show you how to get connected. Find out how to choose an internet service provider. Discover the newest form of communication, electronic mail.
Ways down and ready to ride. One by one, billion by billion, and holding up half the sky. Raise your hand if you're ready and willing, if you know it's time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a
Bonjour mes amis, comment ça va? Hello everybody, how are you? I hope everybody's had a somber Remembrance Day. That's what it's called here. I know in America you call it something different, but it's not always about you guys, so get the fuck over it. I'm just joking. But yes, a somber Remembrance Day. Remembering wars past, I guess. Terrible, but that's the way we do. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull your dono up here, NPC. Thank you so much, by the way. That is what got me out here. I was hemming and hawing. Oh, fuck. I was hemming and hawing, and the video we're gonna watch is still in my pocket. Not yet put into the computer. So, give me 1 second. First, I will put this up so that I can put this up. Where is it now? There we go. Yay! So I can put that up. Then I need to, sorry, give me 1 second. Say thank you properly. Yay! Okay, now I have to literally put this on the computer. Give me 2 seconds. Let me see. Did I miss anything else? I don't think I did. But I appreciate that so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, I scrolled on down. Oh, it's Hector's birthday, by the way. Happy birthday, Hector. Hector, it's your birthday. Oh, Courtney, I love you so much. Okay, hold on. Let me put this in the computadora, and you're just gonna sit. Hold on. I know what to do. I'm gonna pause it, but I won't pause my mic, so you know that I'm still here. But that way you don't see my green screen come into the clear. Woo! Oh, forgot to turn that off. You did, but that is a free one for all of you. Okay. So, now that that's in the computadora, the one word I remember from Spanish, computadora.
It's just fine.
I feel like we've seen this before, but maybe we didn't. Oh no, we're not doing that. We're starting with the men. I told you it would be a short one. It will be a short one. Look at that side-eye. Sir, do not side-eye the judge like that. I would not recommend, 100% do not recommend side-eyeing her like that. Don't. Also, I had to switch this at the last minute because the other one didn't download. Oh! Ah!
All right. I wish you all the best.
What?
Is David there?
Yes.
How
How you doing? The Kwame Q Huggins.
All right, Huggins. Is that your last name?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You've been charged with improper U-turn. Your bond is
Improper U-turn. Okay, maybe he's from Florida. first of all, I'd like to say thank you, NPC. Look at that. 5 more members for our Sunday members only. Second thing I'd like to say is, why is my screen so weird? I have to change that. Third thing I have to say is, improper U-turn, Florida. So in Florida, people U-turn all the time. I think where I live, U-turns are illegal. I don't know that for sure, but like it's definitely like an emergency situation only. In Florida, people U-turn all the time. Okay, when I was driving in Florida, I was like, what in the actual fuck is happening here? Like, I was perplexed. Okay, that's making it worse. Worse? Let's see how that does. Yeah, I was perplexed. I was like, holy fucking shit, everybody's U-turning. And when you know it's going to happen, it's okay. It's when you don't know it's going to happen that you get a little bit fucked in the head with it. Also, I live on an island with a lot of just 2-lane highways, right? Like, there's a very dangerous road here that we have to drive to get up it's called the Malahat, and then you go over this mountain, and there's accidents there all the time. It's a terrible mountain pass, basically. But I don't know. We also don't use our horns here. Everybody uses their horns everywhere I've traveled, and here nobody uses their horn. So that means if you hear a horn, you like freak out a little bit, and then you tend to see they're from another place based on their license plate, and you're like, bitch, we don't do that here. That's not a hornable offense.
$500. Fleeing from a police officer, your bond is $2,000. Reckless driving, your bond is $2,000. Improper lane change, your bond is $500. Your charge of possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime has been dismissed at this time. The total amount of your bond is $5,500. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. Thanks, Sergeant Harold.
All right. Based upon your application, you would have to hire your own attorney. Your next court date, if you don't bond out, is November 19th or November 20th. Okay.
All right.
All right. I wish you all the best. Okay.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Huggins.
What's your last name?
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Oh my god, they switched hair. The other guy got the one half, and this guy got the other half and the bottom. That's a joke. It's a poor joke, but it's a joke. Also, driving U-turns, you just have to be careful. So what I've realized is, I always thought, like, I never understood how people got distracted driving, but then again, I don't have any visual imagery in my brain, and so it just doesn't work the same. Like, when I'm daydreaming, I'm not looking out at the road and seeing what's happening. I'm not fucking focusing on some picture that I've made in my brain. But apparently that's what everybody else is out there doing. And y'all need to fucking tone it down a little bit, is what I'll tell you. Okay?
What's your last name?
Johnny Humphrey.
All right, Mr. Humphrey, you've been charged with use of fighting words. Your bond is $1,500. Failing to have your
Did she just say what I think she just said? Judge, I'm sorry that I said that. First of all, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge here what Drunken Smurf has said, because I believe that's correct, Amundo. In the U.S., so Remembrance, there's no E in it. Very, very common mistake. But it's Remembrance Day. Into 2 holidays, Veterans Day, which was today and celebrates all veterans, and get the fuck back on the goddamn screen, and Memorial Day, which happened back in May, or another way of looking at it, will happen again in May, which honors those we lost in service. Great, thank you for that. I appreciate that. what do we do in May? We have Victoria Day. I live in the city of Victoria, partial to that one. But we celebrate Queen Victoria in May. Okay, let's just go back and hear her say fighting words again. I love that.
What's your last name?
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Johnny Humphrey.
What's your last name?
Johnny Humphrey.
All right, Mr. Humphrey, you've been charged with use of fighting words. Your bond is $1,500. Failing to have your headlights on, your bond is $500. Fleeing from a police officer, that charge has been dismissed at this time, but it may be brought back at a later date. You're charged with obstruction of an officer, your bond is $2,000. Reckless driving, your bond is $2,000. Violating the seatbelt law, your bond is $500. Driving with suspended license, your bond is $1,500. Possession of marijuana less than an ounce, your bond is $1,000. You do have one felony offense, which is possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Because you're on probation, I'm not able to set a bond for that, okay? So overall, you don't have a bond, all right? Based upon your application, sir, you do not qualify for a public defender. You would have to hire your own attorney. The next court date is November 20th, okay?
November 20th.
Yes, sir. All right, I wish you all the best, okay?
Lisa has triggered a story that I will tell. When I was 13 years old, my mother was driving. We had a Volkswagen Westphalia van with the pop-top roof. And if you know anything about Westies, the engines are in the back. And the front is there's barely a hood at all. Basically, you're sitting right at the very front of a Westphalia. And we were driving back from soccer practice. My mom had gone groceries when I was at soccer practice. And we were pulling into an intersection, like it had been a red light. We started going because the light turned green. And a bicyclist came down from another road and went onto the road. And my mom veered to try and miss him, but because he was trying to cross all the lanes of traffic, she ended up hitting him anyways, and he came through the windshield on top of us. And then when she braked, he flew out of the vehicle quite far and was traumatically injured and brain damaged for life, which is terrible and unfortunate. And it was not my mom's fault in the end. And he was wearing a helmet and he was wearing, lights and stuff, but he was trying to go across 4 lanes of traffic. And it was right out front of a restaurant, and this nurse ran out of the restaurant. She saw it happen. She ran out and she said, "Go sit in my car. I'm going to go help him." And she sat us in her car, and she went and helped him, luckily. But again, it was a terrible, terrible thing. And I was beyond scared to learn how to drive when I turned 16 because I didn't trust any bicyclists, because he came out of nowhere. And it took me probably 10 years to become comfortable driving after that incident. And I was 13 when it happened. I wasn't even a driver. But even when I was driving, I was it was crazy. But thank God, knock on wood, I've never had an accident like that. And it taught me a lesson about being a bicyclist and being a driver, about obeying the rules of the road and not sort of trying to take shortcuts, even though it feels like, it might be worth it in that moment. But yeah, definitely something that stuck with me. I still remember exactly where it was. what street it, like exactly. And if you lived in my city, I could explain the intersection to you and you would be like, oh, weird. Because we weren't going very fast, but you don't have to be going very fast for traumatic injuries to occur. And basically, the dude landed on my lap because there was no front of the Westie. Anyways, my mom was very, like, shooken up, obviously, by it. I'm remembering now. And she was like, what about the groceries in the car? Like, because she had just gone grocery shopping, and I don't actually remember what happened with those, but I do remember, like, we had to go to the police station afterwards. Like, it was quite serious, and they're like, oh, don't worry about your seatbelt back there, and I'm thinking to myself, like, are you fucking stupid? I was just in a car accident where a seatbelt basically saved my life. Because if I wasn't wearing the seatbelt and she had slammed on the brakes and the windshield was gone, where would I go? Right out the fucking windshield. But anyways. And my family sort of describes me as a bit of a, like, seatbelt Nazi. And yeah, thank you to that nurse who saw that happen and realized, like, she would be needed to help him, but also that we shouldn't see that. Yeah.
Oh, so you pass on. Hey, bro, come down, brother.
What's your name?
Jerry Johnson.
All right, Mr. Johnson, you have been charged with concealing the ID of a motor vehicle. Your bond is $500. Driving without taillights, your bond is $500. Drive with suspended license, your bond is $1,500. And drive on the suspended registration, your bond is $500. The total amount of your bond is $3,000. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Based upon your application, sir, you do not qualify for a public defender. You would have to hire your own attorney.
All these rich people.
Your next court date
Until tomorrow.
is November 19th, unless you would like to waive that. Would you like to waive it?
No.
All right. If you want to waive, I just need you to sign your waiver. If not, it's set for November 19th, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I wish you all the best.
Johnson, come on in, what's it?
What's your name?
Samuel Norris.
All right, Mr. Norris, you've been charged with battery. Your bond is $3,000, including the children in the third degree. Your bond is $1,000. Your bond has special conditions that you not have any contact with Lacey Johnson or Sydney Sutton. And the total amount of your bond is $4,000, okay? Do you understand?
Okay.
You do qualify for a public defender. Your next court date is November 19th. Would you like to waive that court date?
No, ma'am.
All right, it's set for November 19th, okay?
All right.
All right, I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
No, what you?
Hey, what's your last name, bro?
Norris.
Hold on, Doris, stay back in there real quick.
What's your name, sir? What's your last name?
POND.
All right, you've been charged with battery family violence. Your bond is $3,500. Your bond has special conditions that you not have any contact with Jamie Pond, Janiyah Izzard, or James Pond until this case is complete. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you do qualify for a public defender.
Is your back at all times?
Your next court date is November 19th. Would you like to waive that court date?
No, ma'am.
All right, it's set for November 19th, okay?
Okay.
All right, you're welcome.
Ponds, right?
Yeah.
You come in.
What's your name, sir?
Roger Ray.
All right, you've been charged with criminal trespass. Your bond is $2,000. Your bond has special conditions that you not have any contact with Varick Lewis until this case is complete. Do you understand?
Yes.
Do you have a job, sir?
Yes.
How much do you make per month?
I just started, but I'm in school right now.
All right, I will want you a public defender.
I'm sorry,
Your
you
next
said,
court date, if you don't bond out, is November 19th, okay?
okay,
All right. I wish you all the best, okay?
thank you.
You're welcome.
Monday, Monday, getting started on Monday. That's when my job starts, is what they always say. Seriously, always fucking Monday.
What's your name, sir?
DeMarcus Sims.
All right, Mr. Sims. You've been charged with aggravated assault. Your bond is $7,000. Fleeing from a police officer, your bond is $2,000. Reckless driving, your bond is $2,000. Obstruction of an officer, your bond is $2,000. A red light violation, your bond is $500. Driving too fast for conditions, your bond is $500. Improper lane change, your bond is $500. In violation of a seatbelt law, your bond is $500. The total amount of your bond is $15,000. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. You said 15,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. You do qualify for a public defender. Your next court date is November 20th. All right.
Okay.
You don't bond out. Okay.
All right. Will I receive something in the mail?
If you bond out, yes, the court will contact you about your next court date. If you bond out, also you do not have to come on the 20th. Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Good question. Technically, I do not have a day job. You're looking at it. Oh, I'm a degenerate, I would say. A YouTuber, a degenerate YouTuber. I'm currently in the process of looking for a part-time job for some extra money for the holiday season, but this is what everyone would call my job. I would say online content creation. I worded it much better on my resume. What did I call it? Social media consultant? Something like that. But I did put it independent media production coordinator. I like that. I very much like that. I like it. And so, but in reality, I've had many jobs. I'm an imp. I've had many jobs. I've worked for government. I've worked for private companies. I've worked for myself. I've had them all. I've literally almost had every single job there is. I would swear to it. I've sold cars. I've sold strollers. I've had a spot on TV for a little bit. I've been a private chef to an asshole in his 30s or 40s. Don't give him that. He's in his 40s. I've been a nanny. I've been an executive assistant. One of my favorite titles was the COM of a company, the chief operations mommy of my mommy group that I started when my daughter was a baby. So that was 16 years ago. That's crazy. But yeah, I like degenerate YouTuber. That's a great term.
Sims.
What's your name, sir?
DeAndre Smith.
All right. You've been charged with simple battery. Your bond is $3,000. Your bond has special conditions that you not have any contact with Ada Smith and that you not return to 11885 Fairway Overlook in Fayetteville until this case is complete. Do you understand?
Yes.
You do qualify for a public defender. Your next court date, if you don't bond out, is November 19th. Okay.
Okay.
All right, sir. I wish you all the best. Okay.
Thank you. Smith.
What's your name?
Trail Smith.
All right, Mr. Smith, you've been charged with hijacking a motor vehicle, possession of,
Wow, that's serious? Serious? Oh, I do that Mac as well. I'm an excellent reference. Exactly. And, you know, how it goes. Okay, hold on. We have to talk about this hijacking. And also, I will tell you a little story about the car sales job. So I worked at the car dealership for 6 years, almost 6 years. I started there as a temp from a temp agency. It was my first day at the temp agency and my first day there, and they hired me that day. It was a great experience with a temp agency, what can I say? But they hired me that day, and I was the receptionist for years. And I got pregnant while I worked at that job, and I had my baby, and I went on maternity leave, and then I came back, and I just worked 1 day a week for a while. It was a great job for me. I was the Saturday receptionist at the car dealership, which meant we got free lunch. It was I loved it. But at that job, you know, you talk to people, and I was talking to a couple waiting for their car being serviced. And this was a Volkswagen, Audi, and Porsche dealership, which is it was the only one, I think, in North America that housed all three brands under one roof. But, anyway, so I was talking to a customer about a stroller, and I had already had my daughter at this point, and I had the mommy group, and I was, you know, I'd sold strollers at a baby store before, and I'm talking to this couple about this stroller, and I went on about different things, and after they left, the sales manager came up to me, and he said, "Hey, I want to buy a stroller now." And I said, "Oh, yeah, I can help you with that." And he said, "Yeah, I don't have a kid, so that's weird." And I was like, "What?" He goes, "Do you want to do car sales? The fact that you just sold me a stroller and I don't have a kid means that you can sell cars." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "I'll teach you how to sell cars if you want. You want to give it 6 months?" And so I gave it a 6-month shot at selling cars. And I didn't necessarily enjoy it as much as I thought I would. I'm not bad at selling cars. I just don't love cars the same way that I loved strollers, and I love kids, and I loved weed. Like when I managed a dispensary, I love weed. It was easy to sell weed. But yeah, so that's how I started selling cars. And they ended up, first of all, I didn't have boobs at the time, Loud, and I'll tell you this story. One of the other sales guys there, one of my gimmicks when I was selling cars was I would get into the trunk of the car. What a weird story. I would get into the trunk of the car, and I would explain how many bodies that you could fit in the trunk of the car. Okay? And now I was a lot smaller back then, and it was actually a hilarious sales technique because in the Volkswagen, like you could fit, it would look like you could fit 4 of me in a Volkswagen trunk, right? And so that was sort of my gimmick. Like I sort of would get into the and I learned that being a board salesperson and getting into the cars in the showroom. We would have like 4 cars in the showroom, and I would get into them and explore them. That's how you learn how to sell cars. You fucking learn how the cars. And I would just get into them. But anyway, so in one of the guys who was great at selling cars, let's call him Jim. Jim was an excellent sales guy, and he you guys are making me laugh in the chat now. He would sell the most cars of the whole month, every month. And he was great at selling cars. And I mean, it was great for Jim. But he once said to me, he's like, "You're gonna probably want to get a boob job if you want to sell cars." And I was like, oh, hey, Jim, fuck you. But it did stick with me a little bit. It wasn't that boobs would have necessarily helped me sell cars, but there's a definite, like, there was men that just didn't want to talk to me about cars because they didn't think I would know anything about them. And in some cases that would be right, but in some cases it would be wrong. What was funny about the stroller into selling cars was that company got sold, and the company I went and started working for a way better company after that had nothing to do with car sales, nothing to do with sales at all. But when I was leaving the car company, Jim. Oops, I just outed his name. He's like, I guess you didn't need your tits after all. And I was like, we'll reserve that. One day we'll use them. I think one day we'll use them. But anyways, he didn't end up working for that car company ever again afterwards either. But anyways, besides the point. Let's continue on. You guys are making me laugh in the chat. My trunk kink. Do I have a trunk kink? Probably. You don't get in people's trunks. You get in brand new cars. Because here's the thing. I used to nap. I would get in the trunk and then nap. Run away. I'm telling stories from back in the day when I used to sell cars. I would literally get in the cars, in the trunks, and nap in them. And nobody would find you, and you wouldn't get in any trouble. It was the perfect place to nap. And the cars are all clean. So it was just perfect. But it did become my sales gimmick when I was trying to sell cars. Also, last thing I'll say is that the first car I ever sold was this guy came in, and he was like, I want that car. And he explained the car, and I said, weird, that's the car in the fucking showroom. But nobody else, like, we don't have another one. And he said, no, that's really the one I want. And it's a manual, a stick shift, which is like 10% of the cars that we ordered. Like, no stick shifts. And so, but when somebody wants to buy a car, you know what you do? You fucking get the car out of the goddamn showroom and you take it for a test drive. But could Paisley drive a manual at that point in time? Not very well. I've been practicing on a Volkswagen, which, thank God, old Volkswagens have like a built-in method to tell you when to shift, which is the clutch just like goes nuts. And all the pedals sort of start shuddering. But, oh, Billy. Anyways, but, so I'm like, this guy wants to buy this car. And they're like, we're going to take it out of the showroom, Paisley. Really? I'm like, I swear to God, he's going to buy the car. So I managed to convince somebody to get it, because I was like, I don't want to break this car in front of him, which is another story for another day. There were so many times I broke cars. Anyways, that's literally a members only. But somebody felt pity on me. We swung open the giant doors of the car showroom so that we could drive this car out. We drive it out, and generally how it works is that as the salesperson, you drive first. You drive them to a beautiful location. My mentor taught me, go to the lake. There's a lake nearby. So we would drive to the lake. You park it on the lakefront, and then they get out of the car and they look at this lakefront. They look at their car. They can just imagine their life with this car. And that's where you switch and they begin to drive. But you always start the test drive. And that also means that you guide them home. And what happens when you're guiding them home, but they're listening to you? And so when you say turn left, turn right, oh, up here, turn left, by the time you've gotten back to the dealership after this person has test drove the car, they've now listened to you 15, 20 times and done what you've said. So you've literally put them into the mindset of listening to you when you are now about to talk about finances about this car. Now, I learned all this later. I didn't know this at the time. And I didn't drive a manual. So the sales guy pulls this car out of the showroom in pity for me. And I just toss the keys to the guy. And I'm like, yeah, hop in, let's go. And so, because I'm like, I can't fucking drive this car. And he drove the car, came back, we drove around, and then we came back, and he goes, what's the price? And I like look at the sticker and I tell him the price, and he says okay. And I walk back into the sales office and I'm like, yeah, he's gonna take it for that price. And they're like, what? And we didn't negotiate at all. He just was willing to pay that price. I was willing to, like, it just worked. And I was like, I thought I was being fucked with, because it was my first deal ever and nobody could believe it was going that easily. But again, the car, it wasn't like overpriced. It was just, you know, Volkswagens barely have any profit in them. There's like $500 of profit in there. Anyways, I didn't like car sales for that reason. I wasn't into manipulating people into that. I didn't really enjoy that part of it. I always said at the beginning, I remember this was 15 plus years ago, I said, you guys got to get on the internet. Why don't you list the cars on the internet for what it's actually worth, the number that you'll pay, and people will flock to you if you do that. And they're like, okay. I'm like, seriously, I could help you here, but anyways, let's finish off this docket.
A firearm by a convicted felon in possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime. Because you are on probation, I'm not able to set a bond for any of those charges. You're also charged with misdemeanor theft by taking, your bond for that is $2,000, but overall you do not have a bond at this time, okay?
It's not.
All right.
Next court date?
You do qualify for a public defender. Your next court date is November 20th, okay?
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah.
Couldn't if I
What's your
wanted
name?
to.
Stephon Souter.
All right, you have been charged with simple battery, family violence. Your bond is $2,500. Cruelty to children in the third degree. Your bond is $1,000. Battery, family violence. Your bond is $2,000. Battery, family violence. Your bond is $2,000. 2 more counts of cruelty to children in the third degree. The bond for each of those is $1,000. Drive with suspended license. Your bond is $1,500. And distracted driving. Your bond is $500. The total amount of your bond is $13,500. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Your bond has special conditions that you not have any contact with Shanteria Perry, Shania Perry, Antavius Perry, or Sincere Perry until this case is complete, okay?
Okay. I'm in the court.
Let's see.
I can't see my.
I will appoint you a public defender. Your next court date, if you don't bond out, is November 19th. Would you like to waive that court date?
I want to know.
All right, it's set for November 19th, okay?
All right.
All right, I wish you all the best.
That's true about cruelty to children in the third degree in Georgia. That just means a child was in the house while you and your fucking spouse were fighting.
What's your name?
Sergio.
What's your name?
Sergio Weaver. Sergio Weaver.
All right. Deputies,
Yes, Your Honor,
James Spence is going to be continued until tomorrow also, okay?
not a problem.
All right,
So Weaver is gonna be your last person for today.
all right. Mr. Weaver, you have been charged with criminal trespass. Your bond is $1,500. Your bond has special conditions that you not return to the Atlanta airport until this case is complete. Do you understand?
Yeah, what I get charged with?
Criminal trespass.
Okay. Criminal trespass.
Oh, the airport! We have been blessed tonight. Blessed with the Atlanta airport, which is, I believe, one of the largest airports in the world. And doesn't it have a giant FedEx hub? Anyways, the whole point being that we often see here and in Washington state, for some reason, people that infiltrate the airport and then get trespassed from that. I will tell you this, I had to sleep at the Vancouver airport on the floor. And first of all, the Vancouver airport plays lullabies at night on the PA system. Just let that one sink in for a minute. And I was a transiting passenger, and so I was allowed to sleep over on the floor. But the lady next to me got kicked out in the middle of the night because she was a homeless lady. And I felt terrible because I was like, I am as good as a homeless lady at this point. You know, like, I know I've paid for an airport ticket, and so really that's what gains me the access. But I just felt so terrible because I'm a light sleeper, and sleeping on the floor of the airport, and I shit you not, I slept on the floor of the airport. I woke up and I was like, oh, this lady's getting kicked out. We're all getting kicked out. It's time to leave, Paisley. They caught on, you know, the jig is up. But no, they just kicked her out. And then I just felt terrible. But social activist Paisley is not at 3 a.m. level after a flight. And I was also quite sick. Anyways, ADHD tangent over.
Okay, you're not to return to the airport. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yeah.
I did appoint you a public
Hey,
defender. Your next court date is November 19th, okay?
Yeah, what the judges say?
I did appoint you a public defender and your next court date is November 19th, okay?
This start is November 19th. Okay. How long
Yes.
how long was that?
Okay?
How long do I got?
If you bond out, you'll be released. Your next court date, though, if you don't, is November 19th. Would you like to waive that court date?
I really didn't do any criminal trespassing. They gave me a warning and I was about to leave. Oh, you don't want defense. You don't want defense. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I forgot. I can't talk.
Okay,
Can't say
Okay.
what
all
I
right. Okay, well, I wish you all the best, okay,
Okay.
sir?
Sounds a little bit. That'll be all for
Alright.
tonight's present appearance, Your Honor.
Oh, Mike, we're glad to see you. Oh, run away. You're so sweet. I already went to the gym today. Did you guys go to the gym today? If you didn't, that's okay. All the girls at the gym have these shorts that make their butts look so good. I'm going to get those shorts one day, but also, I don't think I'm going to wear them to the gym. Like, I want my butt to look good, but not at the gym. At the gym, I'm like working out. So I cover my butt at the gym. I wear very long shirts. Sleeping at the airport is like sleeping, you know? Like, I was awake to the, like, I don't know, the way that I am, I've never been able to pass out anywhere when anything's going on. I think it's called FOMO, fear of missing out. But I just am like awake almost all the time if people are around. Like, friends and family will tell you, it's like, I'll stay up, I'll go. You want to do something? Let's go. I'm there. I'm in. So, but traveling alone at the airport, you don't want to be talking to people. You have to be quiet. Like, I didn't want to get kicked out, you know, like it was a real possibility. I'm like, don't be creepy. Don't be creepy. Let's work on not being creepy. We're going to not talk to a lot of people. It's hard for me. Everywhere I go, I make friends. I love that. But sometimes that's just not the thing to do. Anyways, but I was blown away because I'm like, how many days have you been up? You haven't been up that many days, Paisley. In fact, you slept last night. So why are you hearing lullaby music playing? And then I looked it up, and they literally play lullaby, sort of soft piano music at night in the Vancouver airport, where they know people like me are sleeping or trying to sleep. Okay, airport mommy. That fucking freaked me out. Okay? I just literally thought I was hallucinating. I was like, oh, it's begun. You went on a plane for a little ride, and all of a sudden now you hear little lullabies when you're waiting in a public place, Paisley? Come on now. But in fact, it was real, which was both a relief and also just perplexing. Like, who approved that? How do they pick which lullabies they play? I have so many questions. Anyways, guys, what a wonderful evening. We managed to do 45 minutes of my rambling mostly, and I'm glad that some of you enjoyed it. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening. Be mindful of water intake. That's my message to you tonight. Drink more water. Almost all y'all need it. So, remember that I love you and I'm proud of you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.
Ways down and ready to ride.